Welcome, Marvel enthusiasts! Today marks the beginning of an epic journey as we delve into the intricate web of timelines and mischief in the first episode of Loki Season 1. This is Epic Marvel Recap, your go-to channel for unraveling the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with all things Marvel. In 2012, in New York City, the Avengers were at the Avengers Tower dealing with Loki and the Tesseract. During the encounter, Tony Stark and the Ant-Man who came from the future tried to take the Tesseract, but Loki interfered, causing chaos. Eventually, Loki teleported away and ended up in the Gobi Desert. In the desert, Loki encountered local tribesmen, but his presence attracted the attention of the Time Variance Authority (TVA) police, known as Minutemen. They warned Loki not to touch the Tesseract, identifying him as a variant, a deviation from the sacred timeline. Despite Loki's protests, he was apprehended by Hunter B-15 on behalf of the TVA. During the confrontation, B-15 used a baton to slow Loki down and placed a collar on him. After instructing another officer to reset the timeline, they picked up the collapsed Loki. B-15 retrieved the Tesseract, and Loki was transported to the TVA base. Despite attempts to escape, B-15 used a remote to control the collar, ensuring Loki stayed in place. A clerk named Casey was then instructed by B-15 to put the Tesseract into evidence. The robot disassembles Loki's Asgardian attire. A trapdoor then lowers Loki into an office where he is given a gray prison jumpsuit and handed a stack of papers by a desk clerk. Loki confirms his previous statements, signs the papers, and is pushed through another trapdoor. In the next phase, a clerk asks Loki to confirm his humanity, and after affirmation, Loki is directed to pass through an archway. Following a picture of Loki's temporal aura, the archway instructs him to pick up a ticket from a guard. Simultaneously, another prisoner arrives, and both comply with the guard's order to take a ticket. An animated presentation by Miss Minutes informs Loki about the TVA and its role in tracking down individuals for trial. She reveals that after a multiversal war, the Timekeepers reshaped the universe into a single timeline, the sacred timeline, bringing order to the chaos of countless timelines. Variants, like Loki, deviate from the planned course, disrupting the flow of time. The Timekeepers, in their role as guardians of temporal order, prevent these disruptions and potential multiversal conflicts. To maintain the correct course of time, the Timekeepers establish the TVA. Variants, like Loki, face trial for their actions as they are deemed irrelevant to the established timeline. In the TVA facility, the guard breaks down the other prisoner who lacks a ticket, while Loki quickly produces his. In Aix-en-Provence, France, in 1549, TVA agent Mobius M. Mobius investigates the deaths of Minutemen during a Nexus event. He discovers that the reset charge is missing, and the wounds on the deceased Minutemen are consistent with previous attacks. A boy, present at the scene, gestures to a painted window depicting the devil. Mobius questions the boy, who implies that the devil is responsible for the attacks. Mobius reassures the boy that the TVA will handle the situation and return him to his rightful place. This incident marks the sixth attack in the past week, raising concerns about a potential Nexus event that could lead to a multiversal conflict. Mobius inquires about the blue-tinted teeth of the smiling boy, who reveals he got it from the devil in the form of blue gum. As they discuss, a Minuteman alerts Mobius about the impending red line crossing, prompting them to leave. After sending the boy away, a clerk portals in to show Mobius Loki's file, while Minutemen set a reset charge. In the TVA court, Judge Ravonna Renslayer announces Loki's arrival, accused of multiple sequence violations by B-15. Loki, defiant, claims the Avengers are the real time travelers and declares that a god doesn't make pleas. As Mobius joins and takes a seat, Loki suggests forming a task force to pursue the Avengers. Ravonna, citing the Timekeepers, asserts the Avengers' actions were meant to happen, but Loki's escape was not. When Loki proposes speaking to the Timekeepers, Ravonna explains their focus on regulating the correct course of events. Loki attempts to use his teleportation abilities to escape, but they prove ineffective in the TVA. Ravonna declares him guilty, highlighting that magic doesn't work there, and resets his punishment. Minutemen remove Loki from the scene under Mobius's watchful eye. Ravonna cautions Mobius about his thoughts and the responsibility he bears if anything goes wrong. Descending in an elevator, Mobius introduces himself, acknowledging Loki's penchant for talking. He explains that he's taking Loki somewhere conducive to conversation, obtaining a baton from a guard for protection. Mobius guides Loki to his office, and when Loki attempts to attack, Mobius uses a remote to return him to his starting point. After forcing Loki to take a seat, Mobius assures him that he's not one of the dangerous variants Mobius usually pursues. Mobius hints that he might fulfill Loki's wish if the god answers his questions honestly. He begins by asking about Loki's plans if he returns. Loki expresses a desire to reclaim his throne, prompting Mobius to question why someone with immense power only seeks authority. To illustrate, Mobius screens a video montage of Loki's greatest hits, noting the losses despite being born to rule. Mobius reminds Loki of the Avengers seeking revenge for Coulson's death at Loki's hands. When questioned about enjoying causing harm, Loki claims to be a liberator. Mobius shows a video of Loki posing as Mr. Cooper, taking control of a jetliner and escaping with cash. Despite Loki's fall, Heimdall teleports him away. Disgusted, Loki attempts to leave, but Mobius pulls him back into his chair. When Loki asks Mobius what he wants, Mobius states his desire for Loki to be truthful about his motivations. Loki, unimpressed, dismisses the TVA as an illusion created by the weak to instill fear. He insists that his decisions are independent, not influenced by predetermined events. Mobius plays a video of Loki controlling a crowd in Berlin, challenging Loki's claim of autonomy. Loki maintains that his ultimate power comes from his actions, not events sanctioned by the TVA. He brushes off the TVA as a mere footnote in his ascent. Mobius reveals that, without obtaining the Tesseract again, Loki would have been taken to a cell on Asgard. The agent discloses the TVA's ability to see into the future, showing a depiction of Frigga, Loki's mother, killed by dark elves after Loki sends them to her. When Loki presses Mobius about lies, Mobius attributes it to the nature of time. He acknowledges enjoying inflicting pain and angrily tosses a chair at Loki. Mobius then reveals that Loki was created to bring death, agony, and misery, asserting that this is his purpose, to enable others to become their best versions. While helping Loki up, B-15 enters, questioning Mobius about his actions. Mobius, claiming to be doing his job, instructs Loki to stay put and leaves with B-15. Outside, B-15 warns Mobius that talking to the variant is a mistake. Upon returning, Mobius discovers that Loki has escaped and taken the time rewinder remote. Meanwhile, Loki observes Casey twirling a card in his original location. Mobius, B-15, and a group of Minutemen pursue Loki. Loki commands Casey to give him the Tesseract, and Casey hands it over from his desk drawer. Loki is surprised to find numerous Infinity Stones in the drawer, and Casey explains that some clerks use them as paperweights, as they are often acquired. This revelation startles Loki, prompting him to question if the TVA is the strongest force in the cosmos. Loki uses the twister to twist himself away just as B-15 enters, still in search of him. Returning to the office, Loki manipulates the timeline, witnessing key moments from his life, including Frigga's death, his alliance with Thor, and his final moments before Thanos kills him. After the sequence ends, Loki laughs, and B-15 questions what he finds amusing. After Loki attacks B-15, she effortlessly puts him in an arm hold. However, Loki uses the remote to remove the collar from himself and puts it on B-15, continually rewinding her to ensure she never touches him. Casey shares his encounter with Loki with 2 Minutemen, and when confronted by B-15, she storms off in disgust. In his office, Mobius informs Loki that there's nowhere left for him to escape. Realizing he can't return to his own timeline, Loki claims that he doesn't like harming people but does it out of necessity, an attempt at control and part of the illusion. Mobius, seeing beyond Loki as a villain, believes Loki is aware of himself. He offers something greater than salvation, recognizing the Tesseract's meaninglessness in the TVA. Mobius reveals that Minutemen are being killed by a variant, and he needs Loki's help to stop them. Mobius shocks Loki by revealing that he is the variant they are hunting. In 1858, a group of Minutemen appears in a field in Salina, Oklahoma. Confirming an outdated sword embedded in the ground, they set a reset charge to prune the timeline, leading to oil on the ground. Spotting the hooded variant a few hundred feet away, one of the Minutemen drops a lamp, igniting the oil. The Variance seizes the reset charge as the Minutemen burn and perish. And there you have it, the gripping setup for Loki Season 1. What twists and turns await our God of Mischief in this riveting journey through time and identity? Stay tuned as we break down each episode in our upcoming videos. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, Excelsior!